Hey everybody, welcome back to Two Nerds in a Podcast. Today there's been so many new things being announced, new things coming out in theaters, so it's just gonna kind of be a mishmash of catching up, and just kind of a catch-all episode. Before we get started, have to say that there ain't no love in Oklahoma.
I still need to see that movie.
Oh my gosh. Twisters, if you haven't seen it, is actually amazing. Unless you don't like natural disaster movies, then don't go see Twisters.
Yeah, I think that's why I feel like I've seen the first one maybe
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
And it was like a long time ago because I'm not a huge fan of natural disaster movies. They kind of freak me out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, I just want to talk about the 4DX version of this
People fight
movie.
for their life.
Like, okay, it's one thing to watch a natural disaster movie. It's another to be in it. Why do you want to be in it? How are you going to eat your popcorn?
You're not.
It's going to be
You're
swinging
literally
all
not
over
going
the
to
place.
eat or drink anything. You are literally there because you're a roller coaster freak and you want to be on a roller coaster for literally 2 hours straight. Because let
No.
me tell you, like, I was thinking about it because I have a friend at work who wants to see it in 4DX. And I was thinking, like, maybe I'll go with her. Maybe we'll go see it in 4DX together. But one, it's already out of 4DX theaters around me, which is annoying. Two, literally the opening sequence of Twisters is literally a tornado.
They're just
So
throwing it right at you.
the second that the movie starts, you are literally fighting for your life. And now I want to know, do 4DX movies come with seatbelts? Like, you know how like most roller coasters do?
Yeah, I don't know because I was like, dude, those seats, like I've seen clips of it on like TikTok and stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
those seats are being thrown around. Like that does not look fun. I don't
No.
know who would want to go do that.
I could probably handle like the trailer in 4DX, but not the movie.
Yeah, like when I go to movies, I'm trying to like recline back and relax and like enjoy.
And I want to be like immersed, but not like that. Like
Yeah.
that's too immersive. Like what are we going to do next? Are we going to have like literally water being splashed around the theater and like getting hit in the face with a tree branch
Yeah.
or a flying cow? Like what are the limits to 4DX?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, that's crazy. I could not do that because
No.
I'm not even a huge fan of natural disaster movies, but I would want to see it. I mean, I've seen good things about it.
It's really, really good. Now, I liked the first one. It had Bill Paxton in it, and I love Bill Paxton. But here's the thing: is I have basically my second family lives in Oklahoma. Shout out to Natalie who's listening. Um, and so like they live in Oklahoma. So obviously they have survived their fair share of like actual tornadoes, and I have had to send out the text going, "Hey, I saw there was a tornado near you guys. Are you guys okay?" So it was really weird, like it's not necessarily ever a situation that I've been in, but I know people who have been in that situations, and I've heard like just from like Natalie alone some crazy tornado stories.
Yeah, tornadoes are I've never been in a tornado, but when I lived in Georgia for like a few months, that was like one thing I heard. Like we had like a tornado, like a shelter underneath
Yes.
like our house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and I was like really young. I was like in fourth grade or something, first grade maybe. I don't know. I was really young. And then I was like, this is the scariest thing ever. But
Yeah.
I never actually experienced one. But I was so terrified. Like tornadoes, I think are like like to me the scariest natural disaster.
Oh, yeah, tornadoes and hurricanes. Because a hurricane is a tornado with more water.
Yeah, hurricane is the tornado on crack, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I know people always, cuz I live in California, Casey used to live in California. People are always like earthquakes are way scarier. And I'm like, "No, they're
No.
not." I think a tornado, because literally like I mean, in either situation, you can't, like if you're in the middle of it, you can't do much. But for the most part, you can earthquake proof a lot of stuff. Like most modern buildings, earthquake proof.
Yeah.
They're not going to fall down like back in the day, like in freaking 1994, the Northridge earthquake. Everything's a lot safer, but like a tornado, literally,
It will rip shit out the ground. like
absolutely.
like full on houses. I'm like, that's so scary.
Yeah, and a earthquake, yeah, it can happen like at any time, but most of the time there's like signs, right? Tornadoes, for one, I never realized most of the time they happen at night, which is terrifying. But also two, like you can't, I don't know, tornadoes just it's a whole another level.
Yeah, tornadoes are real scary. I don't know. Like, I've seen people on TikTok that are like, just like, I saw this one TikTok where this guy was like just standing outside during a tornado warning. And I'm like, I would be like underground.
Yeah, but like sometimes there's just like nothing you can do. Like you're just stuck wherever you're at. And
That's so
tornadoes,
scary.
at least earthquakes, they're going to go along a fault line of some kind so you can see where it's potentially going to go. A tornado's going to do whatever the frickety frack it wants. If it wants to make a left, it's going to make a hard left. If it wants to go right, it'll make a hard right. And then there's like twin tornadoes, so there's two of them at the same time.
Gosh.
Like,
No, thank you.
no.
I'll stick to monsoons out here. That's like our only.
It's the mild version of
Yeah.
a hurricane.
Yeah, I'll stick to that. Like, no, thank you.
But also, like, there's tornado seasons. Like, there's seasons that you know there are gonna be tornadoes. Multiple.
Yeah.
Not
like
just
every
like
year.
one or
Like
two.
you just have to like prep for it, basically.
Yeah.
Whereas
Just like, oh,
earthquakes, it's like they very rarely happen.
yeah. Like, we had a little one the other day, and I'm like, I didn't even feel it because I was driving. But I was like, oh, cool. But, like, there was no devastation. Like, I feel like no matter what size the tornado is, there will be, unless it's going through a field, but still that field gets ripped up. But
Yeah.
also, I never knew, and it was weird because Natalie told me this right before I went and saw Twisters, and then they actually said it in the movie. But tornadoes, like the scale that they're measured on, is not how big the actual tornado is. It's how much destruction it causes.
Oh.
Isn't that
That
weird?
is
Isn't that a
so
weird way to
scary.
measure?
Yeah. But also, no, thank you. Like, just none of that. Like, what else is in Oklahoma that makes it like worth living there?
It's
Like,
hella cheap.
I mean,
Super cheap. But it's
Yeah.
probably super cheap because one, it's like the middle of the United States. So there's like nothing.
yeah, I'm like, I can't think of one thing in Oklahoma that like I can think of that's like good. Like, and I live in Arizona, so like, you know, I'm like, anytime I think of the Midwest, I'm just like, I don't understand what
You're
is
like,
there.
why? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oklahoma in particular, I guess if you're like in the oil business, then you'd be like making some buku bucks. But a lot of it too, I believe, is like Native American land. So like a lot, there's like a whole, I think there's actually a few whatchamacallits, I can't think of the word, Native American territory. There's a word for it. I don't remember what it is. Reservation. I got there. If I talk long enough, it comes out. And gas is only like, I think they might have just hit $3.
We're like right at $3 right now. It's like
Yeah.
$2.97 at some places.
Yeah, I was about to say that one. I think we passed one and it was like $2.50 and $2.75, and I'm like, I wish, freaking California. Although to be fair, gas is at $4.25, which is the lowest it's been in a while. It's still not the best, but it's better.
It's just trending in the right direction, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, except depending on who becomes president, it will either go back up to $5 a gallon, or it might hover close to like $4.50 if we're lucky.
Gross.
Yeah.
Doesn't it go down in the winter though? Don't you guys have like a winter blend?
I think technically we only have a quote unquote summer blend. So when the summer is over, it goes back to just regular gas. But that's a bunch of BS, because does Arizona just constantly keep the summer blend in and somehow it's still cheaper there than it is here?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
That's their just BS excuse to charge us more during the summer. And I'm like, I thought you guys wanted us to go out and spend money, but if you're going to make it super expensive to drive and fly for that matter,
Yeah, we
I'm
ain't
not
going nowhere.
not going anywhere. Everybody will come to me, which actually is what's happening this year, but yeah, no.
Yeah,
But
no thank you.
Twisters, so last year we could feel the Kenergy with Ryan Gosling as Ken from Barbie. This year we're feeling the Glenergy from Glenn Powell being literally everywhere all the time, and I'm here for it. I love Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because he was in, I don't know if you know this, he was in Spy Kids. I want to say it was the third one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did Little Baby. But I think it's funny because literally I've had at least like 5 different people send me the same reel showing him in Spy Kids 3. And I told my one friend Emma, I was like, this is why the Spy Kids franchise is like top tier. Because I mean, we've got like Baby Glenn Powell, Elijah Wood was in there, Antonio Banderas is in there. There's like so many celebrities within the Spy Kids realm. It's insane.
Yeah, the Spy Kids is a very interesting franchise for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah. And they kept going. Like
I
honestly, they
know.
could have stopped after 2 and been fine, but they were like, no, we'll make the 3. And I'm like, cool. And I'm pretty sure they also made a 4. And I was like, okay.
It's enough slices.
Yeah. I'm like, I think we're okay with no more Spy Kids. But yes, Glenn Powell everywhere. Go see Twisters. It is an amazing story. I liked all of the actors in this movie. Top tier. I went with my mom to go see it, and literally the second Glenn Powell walked on to screen, she was like, "Is that your man?" And I said, "Yeah, that's him. That's him." Um, but also I love seeing because they actually filmed in Oklahoma as well, which I thought was cool. I love when particularly movies that are supposed to take place in the United States actually take place in the United States and not Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah.
But I did see this one clip from behind the scenes that they were filming what I now know as like the final act tornado, and they actually had like a tornado happening, so they all had to like duck inside and everything, and then all the stuff that was supposed to be flying around anyways was flying around because there was an actual tornado
Oh
in
my
the area.
gosh.
It's like,
No,
wow.
thank you.
Yeah. But be prepared if you do go see Twisters or you watch Twisters in the comfort of your own home. The beginning you get smacked in the face with a tornado. So be warned. I was not prepared to immediately dive into a tornado. I thought we were gonna get some backstory, and you do like very, very little, and then they're like, here's this giant scary tornado. I'm like, oh,
Like, oh,
okay,
we're just
so
getting right to it. Got it.
yeah,
Okay.
we're getting down to business. You're gonna immediately make me cry my eyes out. So, awesome. But I really liked it. I would say it's a good solid like 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Is it the best movie on the planet? No. But is it a lot of fun? Yes. Also, Glenn Powell's character is basically a YouTuber, which made me cackle the whole time. He is the tornado wrangler. And for whatever bizarre reason, he literally will drive into a tornado and park and then shoot rockets into the tornado. I'm not sure
That
why,
sounds
but
like,
he walks around in a white t-shirt the whole time, so
oh,
you can't
okay.
be too mad. And a
Makes
big
up for
cowboy
it.
hat. And I love his truck is literally decked out with so many things. Like when the actual main character gets in his truck and she's like, why is there so many buttons? And she starts pressing things and there's like rockets flying off and like songs start playing and he's like, please don't touch any of that. But I do love it because his character and the main character are two big old like tornado weebs. So they do give you some science in there, and it's funny to see them nerd out. So it was very enjoyable. Besides the tornadoes, the actual tornadoes gave me some anxiety.
Yeah.
They did what tornadoes do best.
It's be scary.
Yeah, very scary. But other than that, Have you seen Deadpool yet?
No, I
Okay.
okay. I wasn't. So there was two movies for sure I knew I wanted to see in the theaters this year.
Mm-hmm.
Those two movies are Beetlejuice 2
Yes.
and Gladiator 2. Those are I was like I know those two movies I want to see, but then I've seen just like everything everywhere is Deadpool Wolverine. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, and then I saw the popcorn buckets and I was like, okay, I will go see it in theater. I mean, I'm sure they're sold out everywhere, but
Mm-hmm. I don't know. You live in Arizona, so you might luck out.
that's true. Um but I was like, okay. But so I am going to see it. I don't know when, but soon.
Yay! Soon. So make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening to the podcast, so that you can hear us chat about Deadpool and Wolverine. All I have to say, well, I have two things to say. One, it was very good. Chef Kiss, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, 10 out of 10. But two, I was not expecting my family car, which is a blue Honda Odyssey, to show up in this movie and for Deadpool to be driving said blue Honda Odyssey.
You're like, that's my car.
Literally, the second it rolled up on screen, I leaned over to my friend Christine and I was like, that's my dad's car. That's And actually, it was a newer version of my dad's car. So if they really wanted a Honda Odyssey, they could have just like bought ours and just used ours.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was such a good movie. All of the cameos live up to the hype. Absolutely amazing. So I am very happy that you're gonna go see it. We have lots
Yes.
to discuss. It's a very
Speaking
good
of
movie.
Marvel,
Yeah.
well, obviously, well, I don't know when this episode's coming out, but it's past SDCC. San Diego Comic
Yes.
Con has come and went,
Yep.
and we got a lot of stuff in that.
So many things. So many things.
So
So.
I was going to say
Mm-hmm.
we now have Robert Downey Jr. back in the Marvel franchise. He's back, bitches. He's back.
And
What did he
he's
say? He said new mask, same task.
yep. And he's evil this time.
Yeah.
He is the one and the only Doctor Doom.
I also
So,
love the memes that have been coming from it
oh,
because they're so
top tier
funny.
memes. Top tier.
Like the Spider-Man one
The
with Iron Man
Spider-Man
in
one
him.
is literally my favorite, where it's Doctor Doom and Iron Man going, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
So that was an interesting twist. Now, I don't know if all y'all listening are big Marvel fans. I would have been a MCU fan for like ever. And I'm talking before the MCU was even called the MCU. Like, we're talking
Mm-hmm.
like Daredevil with Ben Affleck. We're talking all of the, Tobey Maguire, Spider Man, Andrew Garfield, all of this, all of this. The past few years for Marvel, in my opinion, have not been good. And it's in many
Yeah.
people's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, I'm trying to think the first Marvel movie I saw at midnight. I want to say it might have been Avengers or one of the Captain Americas. I can't remember, but I'm one of those people who would go to the theater at midnight to see the newest Marvel movie. I did that all through college and right after college until we hit, I believe it was Thor Love and Thunder. That was the only one I didn't see opening weekend, but I did go see it in the theater. But I went with my friend Christine to see Deadpool and Wolverine, and we were trying to figure out what the last Marvel movie we saw together, and it was Thor Love and Thunder. So it's been like, what, 4 or 5 years? Um, and I haven't even caught up on any of the TV shows or anything like that. So the fact that they're trying to rekindle the Marvel flame by
Mm-hmm.
bringing Robert Downey Jr. back in. Now, I know a lot of people don't like that they're using Robert Downey Jr. I think it'll provide a lot of interesting twists with future superheroes, particularly Peter Parker, because I think he will just be devastated the second he finds out that Doctor Doom shares a face with Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if they, because it seems like they're kind of slowly bringing back like older MCU members, and it's just gonna wreak like utter devastation on everybody. Just emotional trauma for everyone.
Yeah, as if they already don't have a
Yeah,
bunch
because
of
they're not
emotional trauma.
traumatized enough.
Yeah, let's just add more to it.
Yes. So I love Robert Downey Jr. as an actor. So I'm very excited that he's back. I'm
Mhm.
excited to see what this means. Now, I'm not a comic book nerd when it comes to Marvel. Wyatt is that part of my brain for me.
Mhm.
And my
Mhm.
friend Christine. So I'm going in with a blank slate. I don't know what's coming, what could be coming. I'm just very excited to see him on the big screen, and again to see what kind of utter destruction he wreaks.
Yeah,
Very excited. Yeah,
madness to
it's just gonna
ensue.
be, yes,
Yeah, that was very exciting to see. I know I was all over my social
everywhere.
medias, and I was
Hmm.
like, oh, um, I want to go to a San Diego Comic Con so bad,
I want to go back so bad.
but I was like looking at the videos from like, okay, I don't like crowds. I don't like people. I have to go to the
You'll hate
grocery
Comic Con.
store early in the morning because I don't like when people are out and about. Um, so like my dream is to go to San Diego Comic Con, okay? But like the people, there's so many people everywhere.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and like I would love for you to go, and I would love for us to go together. But here's the thing. I San Diego Comic Con when I went in 2019 was the second convention I had ever been to in my life. And I don't have a problem with crowd. I mean, what do I want to stand like in everybody's personal bubble and shuffle along? Absolutely not. Especially because like at a convention, most people are wearing like faux leather of some kind or latex, so everybody's sweaty, a little smelly. But Comic Con was probably one of the most overwhelming things I have ever been to.
Oh, I'm sure. It just looks
Ever.
overwhelming. I'm like the amount of people and like celebrities and everything that is there, it
Yeah.
would actually send me into like a coma, I think, with
Yeah.
how many different things are going on.
Yeah. And for me, it was just like, because I had never even been to the San Diego Convention Center. So I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know where to park. The first day I went, I actually went by myself. And so I didn't have like anything. I don't know. I didn't have any prior knowledge nor any good like solid base of how conventions work. I figured it out, but I was absolutely exhausted by the end of the 3-day venture. I don't even remember what I was saying, so we can just move on. But
Okay.
still MCU related, we got the first official panel of the Fantastic Four,
Yes, I saw that.
which honestly, when they announced that they were remaking the Fantastic Four again, I was apprehensive. And I still am, honestly. The only reason I am going to go see the Fantastic Four in theaters is because my husband is in it. And that's the only reason. Yeah. I mean,
Yes,
don't get me wrong. I
the
like
only reason.
the other actors that are within the Fantastic Four, but Fantastic Four was one of those original Marvel movies from my childhood. And I love that movie. And then they remade it and I was like, okay, the only saving grace was Miles Teller was in it, and I'm like, that's fine. I can deal with that. But then they're like, actually, we're gonna make it again, and I was like, oh, I thought we were gonna still make like, because I know for a while from the Miles Teller version, they were rumored to try and make a second one, and I was like, interesting, because the first one didn't do very well. But you do you, whatever you want. It's your money. Um, and then they didn't, and then like we're making it, and I'm like, okay, and then like it's gonna be set in the '60s, and I'm like, okay, and then yeah, like
Okay.
and then they were like, and then
Question
it was all
mark.
like this retro artwork and stuff coming out for it, and I'm like, okay, and then they were like, just for you, Jamie, Pedro Pascal is gonna be in it, and I'm like, gosh dang, you got me there, yeah. Yeah, you
You're like,
got
I'm
me.
in.
That's all it
I'm in.
takes, really.
You got me.
So I haven't heard anything about the story. I don't know what's happening. I do like the fact that it's not an origin story. Because honestly, I feel like
Hmm.
every time they remake a Marvel movie in particular, they're like, we got to start with the origin story. And I'm like, actually, you don't. If it's the same concept, you really don't need to start at the beginning. We can just jump right
Right.
in. Most of your audience will know exactly what's happening. So it is supposed to be the Fantastic Four are established. They are the original Marvel family. So I'm excited to see what happens. I've been loving all of the snippets of interviews with Pedro. He Every time I think he can't get like a more unhinged, he does at every single interview, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
and then it's funny because like he's an anxious person like many people, but I do love because I'll get like all of the goofy snippets, and then I'll get one like, oh, he's really anxious because he like will grab for people's hands and stuff like that, and I'm like, Emma sent me one, and I was like, I love that he just has to like rub somebody's arm and then they just automatically reach back for him and hold his hand. And I told her that's really sweet. And then I told her I would also like to volunteer as his emotional support person.
I
And she,
volunteers tribute.
yeah,
Thank you.
she's like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, so I'm excited for the Fantastic Four. Have you seen any of the Fantastic Four movies, Casey?
It's been I've I think I've seen one of them. It's been a while.
Did you
And
see
I
the
know
one
like
with
the
Chris Evans in
general
it?
I don't even remember which one. It's
When
been
he
so
had a
long since I've seen.
shaved head. He was little.
I honestly, I'm not okay. The Marvel universe is something that like I feel like there's so many moving working parts and
Mm-hmm.
orders you have to watch shit in
Mm-hmm.
that it's like I am not very well versed. I've seen, Marvel movies here and
Mm-hmm.
there. I've not seen all of them and I don't think I've watched any of the shows honestly. Because I'm like I'm like I don't even know what order to watch them in. Okay, that's already given me a headache.
Yeah.
I'm already over it. Like they're
Yeah.
so like the Marvel universe is too much for me sometimes.
Yeah, it's got to the point where it's so large and so much is interconnected that it definitely
Mhm.
is like overwhelming for somebody who didn't start at the beginning.
Yeah. Exactly.
But honestly, if you're gonna watch them, I personally would recommend watching in release order
Mhm.
because Marvel started doing the end credit scenes. So certain ones, if you watch them in timeline order, the end credit scene won't make sense because you haven't
Yeah.
seen the context for that. Um, Unless you just don't watch any of the end credit scenes and you just watch just the straight up movies back to back to back, then you'll be fine. TV shows, I feel like honestly they really haven't added anything except to the new stuff. So like this new phase that we're entering with the new Captain America movie, with the fantastic, well, not the Fantastic Four necessarily, but Captain America, and there's another one coming out and I can't remember what it was. And then Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mhm.
If you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki, they'll give you some context to what some of like the organizations and some of the characters are. But honestly, I feel like Marvel's made it so simple to understand that you don't necessarily have to watch the whole show. You could literally read the synopsis of it and be fine.
You need to be caught up, yeah.
Yeah. I do personally highly recommend Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought it was a good show. You ask some of my other friends and they hated it, but I really liked it. I also liked Loki season 1. Season 2 kind of dragged a little bit. I feel like Loki could have been one really good season, but that Disney Marvel likes to drag things out a little
Mhm.
too long. So I think that's what happened there. Um, but yeah, so I'm excited to see what the MCU has for us. What else happened at Comic Con? Oh, we're gonna have to move on to one of mine and Casey's favorite shows that we just wrapped up season 4 of, which is The
The
Boys.
Boys, and how we get a whole show of Jensen Ackles
Oh, I'm so excited. As Soldier Boy. Jensen Ackles
as
as Soldier
Soldier
Boy.
Boy.
And not just like
Yes,
any Soldier Boy, but like
like OG.
1940s Soldier Boy.
Yes, I am
My
so
body's not
excited.
ready.
Yeah, no,
I am ready, but I'm
I
not.
I'm like, yes, give me all of the Soldier Boy content,
Mm-hmm.
please
Mm-hmm.
give it to me. I don't. I am kind of like apprehensive about it though
Mm-hmm.
because it's got what's her face back in it,
That's what I
obviously.
said too. Stormfront.
Yeah, Stormfront.
Although we don't, she's
That.
not going to be Stormfront. She's going to be whatever her original superhero alias
Oh yeah,
was.
that's true. That's true. So I was like, ugh, that kind of sucks because I did not like her,
I didn't either.
but I feel like Soldier Boy will make up for it. So.
Jensen Ackles is going to freaking outshine anybody and everybody in that show. So in the end, the fact that Stormfront's there, we're not going to even remember. We're going to be too distracted with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a friend who works for Sony as a casting assistant, and apparently she got like a sneak peek of the script, and she says it's
Ooh.
really good.
Oh man, I'm very excited.
Yes. So I can't wait for that. That was honestly the most out of left, like between Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
coming back to the MCU and Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy getting a spin-off show was not on my bingo card for San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, me either. But I'm glad that it happened
Oh my
because
gosh.
very
Yes.
exciting. Very it gives us stuff to talk about too. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you for adding content to our podcast.
Yeah, thank you for sponsoring our podcast, Marvel
Yeah.
and Amazon. I'm gonna say that, and literally, one of the sites that we upload on is gonna flag it and be like, "You didn't mark this as a sponsored post," and I'm gonna be like, "It's not."
Like it's not. We
But
wish it's
if they
not.
want to be, if they want to sponsor, they're welcome to. Please send cash or tickets to San Diego Comic Con next year. I do think it's interesting that I don't know, what is the show even called? Oh, is it Bot
It's
Rising?
Bot Rising, yeah.
Like I don't even remember. I'm too distracted by Jensen.
Yeah.
I like that we are going to get like the beginning of Vought because obviously when season 1 of The Boys, Vought has been very long established. It
Mhm.
is every superhero's dream to be in the 7, to be a part of Vought, to be sponsored by Vought. So it'll be interesting to see it on the rise. I am also very interested to see um Black Noir
Oh yeah.
because it'll be the OG Black Noir, which
Mhm.
it's funny because Wyatt was like, "Oh, but it's gonna be the Noir that doesn't talk," and I go, "Well, actually, he did talk
Yeah.
before he, got like a freaking torpedo to the skull. So, and before he went, quite literally Looney Tunes in the head."
Not the narcoleptic Black Noir.
Although not to be confused that the actor for Black Noir is indeed still
The same
narcoleptic
actor.
and
Yeah.
still the same actor. So it'll be interesting. Also, Soldier Boy has this like very incredible intensity to him where everything that comes out of his mouth, like as a modern person, you're like, dude, where have you been for the last like 100 years? But then it also makes sense because he grew up in the 40s.
Hmm.
It's just it's gonna be mind-boggling. it
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle that.
Yeah, plus we got a little snippet of him at the end of season 4.
Oh my gosh,
So
the
it's like,
tiniest morsel.
yeah, they just crumbed us with that, but I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna take all the crumbs I can get at this point."
Oh,
Like, I need something to keep me
absolutely.
going.
Yeah, any trace of Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy, we are in. We're 100% committed.
Yes, I'm in.
Oh, but that's amazing. I'm very excited for that. I'm trying to think what else. Was there anything super big announced at San Diego Comic Con? I'm trying to think of all the. There was so much this
Yeah.
year. I'm trying to think. I don't
I didn't
remember.
really see anything else. I mean, I saw, like, obviously the Marvel and the what were we
Yeah,
just talking about? The boys, there we
the
go.
boys. Again, too distracted by Jensen.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
don't
those
know.
were like the biggest
Yeah, that was, like, the
things.
biggest things out of Comic-Con this year.
Yeah,
But there was just
absolutely amazing.
so many cool people there, though, like, that
Yeah.
like, I kept seeing, like, all of the celebrities there, and I was like, "Man, that looks so overwhelming," and I would probably have a panic attack and want to hibernate in my room for a week after that.
Honestly, like I know it's 3 days, and you go, 3 days can't be that bad.
Oh
But
my
those
god, I could
three
not imagine.
days, it's literally like running a marathon
Yeah.
for 3 days. Like,
Yeah.
there's no sleeping, there's no hardly any eating. You're lucky if you stay hydrated. Like, it's just, and there's so many people all of the time, and you're trying to go from A to B to Z, and it's a lot. It's a lot. But also, I'm very sad that the one Comic Con I did go to, that Pedro wasn't there. So I really need to be like within the vicinity of Pedro Pascal at some point in the near future, preferably.
Yeah.
Because that's just tragic.
That's pretty much all the things we're excited about.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other stuff, but we are not excited about it, if
Yeah,
there
not
is.
as excited.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of things. Can you believe our Weeb Central vacation is almost upon us?
I know, it's August.
It's
Crazy.
insane. So we'll
It's
have lots of content for you
oh, yeah. Like, a lot.
and all
A
kinds of
lot.
content. There's going to be
Yeah.
vlogs, there's going to be Instagram posts, there'll be TikToks galore. Um but yeah, it's funny cuz told my dad that you and Wyatt were going to be here at the same time, and he's like, "Where are you going to put them?" I'm I'm
Where are
like,
you gonna
"They'll."
put them?
Yeah,
Where are you
I'm
gonna
like,
store them?
they'll fit in my room potentially. It'll be fine.
It's
It
like
quite
we're
literally is
camping. We're, like,
just
all
in my
just
room.
in yeah, except for yeah,
Yeah.
indoor camping, which is the only kind of camping you should be doing because outside, gross.
But yeah, so I'm very excited. Oh, I actually wanted to talk about the Haunted Mansion is open at Disneyland.
Oh, I saw that. Okay, wait. I saw that the first day it was open, the line was, like,
Yeah.
8 hours long.
Yep.
That is
Yeah.
foul. That is an entire
Yes.
work shift
Of standing in line for the Haunted Mansion. Like, I love the Haunted Mansion, but a whole workday just to sit on a two
of just
minute
standing
ride?
there. Yeah, and then like what
No eating, no going to the
what if you have to
bathroom,
go? Yeah.
no nothing. Just
Yeah.
standing and chatting.
I'm like, was it worth it? Was that worth it? I want to know if that was worth your trip to Disneyland to stand in the line for Haunted Mansion all
Maybe it was all the
day.
pass holders. It better be
That's
all
what
the
I want
pass
to know.
holders
I would
because
it would have to
if you're
be.
spending your whole day at Disneyland waiting in line for the Haunted Mansion and you're not a pass holder, what are you doing?
Yeah, like you just wasted an entire day doing
Mm-hmm.
nothing at Disneyland. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
insane. I could not even imagine. Like I see a line that's like an hour long, and I'm like, oof, that's pushing it. That is
Honestly,
pushing it for
like
how long
when
I
we
want
get
to
into
wait.
like the 2 hour range, I'm like, and
Yeah, I'm like, that is two
for
hours.
certain rides, like Rise of the Resistance, I go, maybe, but for Haunted Mansion, for Pirates of the
Yeah,
Caribbean, for Indiana Jones teeters back and forth. Depends on if the last Disney trip I went on then I'm like, no, we're okay. But if I haven't been on Indy in a while, then I might wait for that 2 hours.
yeah, but even then, like some of those rides, like especially like, cause like what's that one ride? Like Radiator Springs is always such a long wait,
Yeah.
and I'm always like, oh my god, I don't even know if I want to. And I
Yeah.
love that ride,
But it's so hot
but
waiting in
eight
that ride.
hours, eight
Yeah.
hours,
That's,
yeah, and it's
yeah.
July.
It's literally the dead of summer.
Like I didn't even I saw like one piece of like the new haunted, like I saw like the like
Yeah.
gingerbread
I sent that
house,
to you.
but I haven't seen anything else. Was it what do you know what they changed or redid or why it was closed for over like a
I don't
year?
know the specifics. I need to actually text my friend Lauren because she went on yesterday, day before. She might have went yesterday. I don't know. She had videos on her story. It's already decorated for Christmas. So they're just jumping
I saw
straight into
that.
Christmas. They're wasting no time. Which honestly is fine because most of the time I don't actually get to see the Haunted Mansion at Christmas. So
Which honestly, it's good that they did that instead of being like, "Hey, it's open and now we have
to
to close it
redecorate
down
it.
to redo it
Yep.
for Christmas." So like it's good that they just jumped
Yes, did
straight
it all at
into it
once.
because they were like, "Listen, we've already been this has been closed for
Yeah.
like a year." I can't remember the last time I rode the Haunted Mansion because I think every time I've gone, it's been closed.
Yeah, I want to say when we went for your birthday last year, I don't think it was open. So
No, I
then
don't
it
think so. I think it might have been open
February.
in the first time we
Yeah.
went. Yeah, it might have been open that time, but I don't
I don't
remember.
remember either cuz I feel like it wasn't because like that's my dad's favorite ride and I can't remember if we
Hmm.
went on or not. I feel like we didn't.
I feel like
So
we
it might have
didn't.
been the time before that, which was like a while. It was a few years. So it's been
Yeah.
closed for at least a solid year that well now it's technically over a year. But
Hmm.
I am glad that it opened now. I was nervous that it was going to open like the week we were going to go. And then everybody and their grandma would be there and the wait would be 8 hours. So the fact that my
Yeah.
friend got
That's so
on and she
gross.
had video from inside means that it's no longer 8 hours, which is fabulous.
It's promising.
Also, by the time we actually go to Disneyland, for the most part, schools will be back in session. So there'll be slightly less people, not by much because it's still summer, but there'll be less, especially because we're going on a weekday. So that tends to be our best bet in general. But yeah, I am excited to see. I feel like this update was probably a lot of mechanical stuff, like stuff that we wouldn't notice.
Notice. Yeah.
Because honestly, when I wonder how often they do stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
I imagine they patch here and there, but this was probably like a very long overdue deep cleaning, and I feel like they probably found stuff that they didn't realize wasn't working or needed to be replaced, and that's why it took so long. And then they just went, you know what, let's decorate, and then we'll
Yeah.
call it a day.
Let's just do it all.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. What else? I don't think there's anything else new for Disney. I know a lot of their Halloween merch and stuff is already coming out, so it'll basically, since it's after the 4th of July, it basically is Halloween.
Yeah, it
And I
is
like
Halloween.
that Disney is taking that in stride this year. They're like, you know what? It is Halloween. You guys were right. Thank you. Although for them, they're like, you know what? Except the Haunted Mansion, it's Christmas.
Yeah. Which is
It's
like
a little
technically
both.
Halloween. Yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
bit of both.
Yeah, because you got the Pumpkin King celebrating Christmas. So it's basically both. Um, but yeah, so I'm super excited. So, yeah. I'll have
Yeah.
to see. I wonder if they have any new treats. I'll have to see if they have any new treats out and about.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yes. I believe that is it. Anything else to add, Casey?
I think that's everything. I think we covered all the things we're very excited about.
I think
And
we
if
too.
you wanna follow along and see all the cool, crazy, fun weeb antics we have up our sleeves, then do that. Or
Yes.
else.
Yeah, so follow us everywhere. Make sure to support the podcast by buying your own official Two Nerds and a Podcast sticker that you can
Woo!
stick on any surface. Shout out to Other Jamie. She was the first person to buy a sticker, and love
Woo!
Other Jamie for that. Um, so buy your sticker, support the pod. Don't forget to tell everybody that you know, including your dog, to listen to the pod, and give us a little cheeky rating of 5 stars, preferably. Wherever you're listening on YouTube, make sure to give us a thumbs up. I believe Apple Podcasts, you also rate us with stars, so give us max amount of stars. Um, and I believe that is it. So we will see you guys in the next episode. So goodbye.
Goodbye. Woo woo woo. Bow, bow, bow,
Ain't no love in
bow.
Oklahoma.